Hello everyone, welcome back to Rust. Now, I had recently restarted because every so often there is a wipe. Now, also with the last server, I didn't really care too much for the factor of the decay on everything mechanic that they had in place. So I went to a different world, well, a different server, and this server has, well, it's quoted as no decay. So that means all my items, my building, etc., it should not decay unless there is an outside source that is attacking my stuff. Now it doesn't say that it is a PvE only server, so I'm going to be guessing that this is a strictly anything goes type server. Now, when I had joined, I didn't see anybody else actually on, but that doesn't always mean anything. It is in the late afternoon in the Eastern Time server, so it is extremely possible that there is people who do play this. It's just they are currently at work, so they have not been able to really get on much. Now, when you first start out, okay, a lot of people will ask about this. It's just like, well, how do you make a map? How do you make a building plan? How do you make your buildings? The first thing you want to do, at least in my eyes, you want to make two pieces of paper. When you make a piece of paper, you can then make a building plan, and then you can also make a paper map. Each of these take one paper. Now, I say the map because this way, when you equip that to your hotbar, like I do now, if you press the G button, it'll actually show you where you have been, and then you can also see where certain things are. But, like some other games, it only shows you to areas you have been. That is the only area in the map that is cleared off. Now, if you do want to kind of be a little cheatsy, you can go to the official website of that server, and most of them will have the full map posted there for you to view. Now, I don't like doing that because personally, part of the game to me is the sense of exploration of the game. So to me, that's a little too cheaty, and I don't like doing that. Also, now, whenever you first start, after you get, like, well, I'd say the hatchet and the stone pickaxe is probably actually your first and top priorities, and I don't really think about it, because if you get the stone hatchet and the stone pickaxe right off the bat to start, because initially you start with a rock, and if you have played this game, if you keep trying to harvest rock and stone with, well, stone and wood with that rock, it is going to be so slow that it's going to take you forever, and it's not going to be very fun. So, first thing you want to do is you want to get the hatchet and you want to get the pickaxe. Because by getting these two, essentially what you're doing is you're enabling yourself to actually be able to harvest. Once you harvest, then make your map, then make your building plan. But also, since the dehydration and the starvation is actually a lot more punishing than it used to be, you kind of want to find a large monument, which is what I'm in right now. This is a large monument, I believe. Because a large monument, or even the smaller ones like the power lines, they'll generally have food within them. And the biggest way to find them, best way to find just the food items, is if I can actually see one. I did get lucky. I found some food within an actual crate. If you can find food within a crate, in the beginning times, like right now for me, that's like, ooh, amazing. But later on, it's just like, okay, that's not so cool. Now, like right there, I got a water bottle. This will help with my hydration. Now, I'm actually going to just drop that right away because generally, you don't need to worry too much about your hydration. But also your sprint, which is your shift button. I always use the left shift because it's right there with the WASD keys. is kinda a big deal. There we go. Water bucket. Most likely you'll be getting the blueprints for items before you actually get the items. Now there is some exceptions to that rule. Like for instance, if you get a supply crate from the airplane, do not confuse that with the helicopter, because the helicopter will shoot and kill you. The airplane will actually drop supplies and help you. So now as you can see, my main target right now is just going around in this city. I know it seems kind of sporadic, and right now it kind of is. I'm just kind of in a hurry to get certain things going. Currently, like you've seen there, I got anti-radiation pills, which it seems like either for all servers or certain servers, that is not a big deal. Now there I just got a weapon. The bone knife is actually very useful for skinning animals. So that's more something you want to use for that. Now I'm not a big hunter in this game, so I don't really go down hunting animals, because this will give you your best yield for skinning an animal. Now me personally, I usually just use the hatchet, which is, I think, supposed to be the next in line. There I was unlucky, that loot crate was completely empty. But yeah, it used to be before that when you sprinted like that, there wasn't much of a consequence. Now they actually have it that it is not that great to do. So you kind of want to try to avoid that the best you can. Now I realize this time I'm doing more of a tutorial into Rust versus actually playing it, but I figured I want to give a small little tutorial what this game is and what this game is about just in the beginning. After I get going, hopefully this is a PvP server, because that would be a lot more interesting. Whereas if it's just a PvP server, whereas if it was actually just a PvE server, it's kind of dull, because then your biggest threat is the helicopter. Which I know in one of my earlier videos, I tried to get you a good visual of the helicopter and what it can do. But I was a victim to my own demise of not paying attention to my surroundings. And I fell off a cliff. Like I said, it was purely my own fault, but that is what happened. So I don't know why, but I always check the repair bench just in case there's something sitting in them. But yeah, the biggest thing you want to do is you want to try to find the blueprint fragments and food right off the bat to start. Now, the nice thing, like, let's see, find a can of beans. Those can of beans, once you eat them, or even like the can of tuna and stuff like that, once you eat that stuff, you actually keep the can. Now, some might say the can is useless, but if you actually keep it, it gives I believe it is 20 metal fragments. Now, for those who aren't very familiar with this game, metal fragments are actually kind of a big thing. Now, see, I took some fall damage because I fell too far, because I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. But as you can see, if you're lucky, when you do start playing, you'll find a server that's not too populated, at least at the current time. This way you can get stuff set up. Because if you can get stuff set up, it's not too bad. Alright, see there. See, sometimes you can find tools like that, which is kind of nice, until later on when you can make your metal pickaxe and your metal hatchet and you find a stone pickaxe and you're just like, why? Yeah, I mean, this game is actually pretty good. And for those who can't see it quite right, this game is still in its alpha stage, so that means there's still a lot of content to come. Now this, to me, is one spot that's kind of hard to get to. You got to time it just right so you can get up here and get this. Now that is extremely lucky. A two-handed mace. Very powerful two-handed weapon. I mean, I would have preferred to get the blueprint for it, but as you can see, look at that destructive power. And it's just like, why would you not want that? I just got a stone spear. So I'm going to use that to start just so I can get rid of that. Because I'd rather get rid of a weak weapon than to keep the weak weapon for my main. In case, let's say, I run into, I don't know, a boar. Because to run into a boar and not have anything to kill it with kind of bites, because that's a good way to get your meats. Boda bags, I don't find them very useful. Some people do. I don't, but I'll take it for now. Sometimes it feels like if I don't take the items, the server will punish me and be like, hey, since you didn't take everything we gave you, here, take this junk. And I go back into getting like stone pickaxes. Which, like I said, to start out, that's like really cool, but the higher you get, the worse that is. So as you can see, it's not too bad when there's no other people around, which is good for whenever you're setting up. Now, whenever it comes to time when you actually want to start doing stuff, then you kind of want to have people around, because it makes it more interesting. Okay, so right now I have food. Well, I have my guys' health up a little bit. And since the anti-radiation pills don't really do much, I just take them because it actually does add to your hunger a little bit. So it's just like, well, why not use them? Get the added bonus of whatever they can give you, and then carry on your way. Now there is something I want to show you after I'm done over here, which I believe that's it for this area, because I was actually pretty far south. So I don't think there's going to be any roads leading out of this place. Because yeah, whenever I started, I was actually really south, and this is the first place I actually came across. Which, this is not one of my favorite areas to come across at all. Whoa, a rocket. Personally, I prefer the power plant. And I prefer, oh, that is awesome. I want to show you a trick with that then. Not in this video, but I'll show you in another video about my house setup for the large furnace. It kind of really protects it, and then you can also have it running when you're not at your house. Assuming nobody breaks into your house, that is. But okay, I'm not really seeing any major things to really worry about over here, so I want to continue along the road. Now, if you actually continue along the roads in this game, it's actually not too good of an idea, as usually if you're on the road, you're easier to spot. But my thought is, you know what, there's a lot of stuff along the roads is actually what helps you find different areas, whereas if you're just venturing in the wilderness, it's not going to be too pretty. Alright, we'll get this last crate since it's along the way. Oh, and then to interact with different things within the world, you want to push E. As you can see here, I'm actually saving my blueprint fragments a little bit. Mostly because the higher the ones you can make, the better the blueprints you can get. It's like a large med kit, I generally won't make those. This I generally won't make. But I wanted to try to get, there's these two items I really like to get. And one is the large chest, and the other one is a salvaged racks. And what reason why I like getting those is because they are really good for storage and how you actually lay out your base. But since there is no real threat so far, I'm not too worried. Now I'm going to show you the main reason why I personally like to go along the road. Alright, so here is the road. Easily found in your map if you have made one by a dark line. Now along the road you will find throughout it barrels, and you will find these goodie boxes. These boxes will generally have food. Sometimes they'll have an item, which is kind of nice. But generally it has food. Now I hear flies buzzing, so that makes me think there's a dead animal near there, which would be nice, but I don't see it. So I'm not really going to fret over it and keep trying to find it, as I don't want to make this too long of a video. There's another stone hatchet. Yeah, you actually have to find your items when they fall out. I mean, that's a cool feature, but a pain in the butt feature at the same time. So as you can see, you know, there's been a few barrels already. I'm not hitting every one. But as you can see, there is an importance of walking along the road, especially when you first start out, because it'll actually really help you. Let's look at that. Now my health is getting up there pretty good. My hydration's getting up there pretty good. All because I decided to follow the road a little bit. Now if you want to follow the road, but you don't want to be exactly on the road like I'm doing, that's fine. Just try to keep the road within range, because this will actually help you find more landmarks or large monuments. And also, if you follow like the power lines like that, it's also another sure way of finding more landmarks. Now I'm hoping I can find the dome here for you guys before I call this video quits, as this video is getting kind of long. I do want to try to wrap this one up shortly, but I just want to show you a little bit into the starting zones of this. So once you get started, it's not too bad. See over there, there's the big power lines, which means it probably does lead to another area. Now since I see something off in the distance, I want to keep heading this way. I don't know if that is a player made thing yet or not. It looks like not. But it is a good stopping point, because I want to get up here. I want to get some stuff started. Yep. Okay. I'm not going to... You can't build a base within a certain radius of places like this, as you can see. So I'm not going to actually be looking to make a base here. But what I'm looking to do is, because it's probably soon going to be nightfall, I want to get a little bit more food in my guy. That was the main thing I was hoping for. That and blueprint fragments. But mostly because this area is actually pretty good for coverage. And with it soon being nightfall, it wouldn't hurt for me to get some coverage, just in case a helicopter decides to appear, because now I do have weapons on me. And I also have some clothing on me. Which in this game you can make everything, but you can also find everything. And there I just lagged a little bit, as you can see. Sometimes that is an extremely dangerous thing. Other times it's really nothing. It really depends on your circumstances. But here's a large med kit. I want to use that for now. This way to boost up my health a little bit. Luckily some of this stuff like that stacks. And it looks like there probably was or is somebody else on the server too, because the other area was pretty well picked clean. Oh, it was not so much that it was picked clean, but if an area hasn't been looted in a while, there's actually a lot of stuff that you can grab. Okay, I can already make pistol bullets, so I'm going to drop that. I can already make that, so I'm going to drop that too. But yeah, now this is, to me, the best way to get started is you want to just go around to monument, try to get a few things started, try to get a few blueprints found, and then you will be okay. The main thing is to get the food. Once you get the food and your hydration up, you should be alright. But until then, you don't really want to run around. You don't want to do a lot of risky behaviors, and you really want to avoid people at that point. Because until you find some of this stuff, you are just at a huge risk of death. Yeah, see, this area is not too popular, so a lot of people won't actually have been through here. So as you can see, it's really helping me as far as like finding loot goes. And here I just found some body armor, which I forget if that is more for melee protection or if it's for bullet protection. Different armors offer different types of protection. Different things are better for different things, which as it is in the real world. Now that is a good find if you're going to be going up into the winter type areas. It's like the snow areas on top of mountains and whatnot. Which, if I can find a good spot on top of a mountain, I will make my base on there. But as you can see, this is a good starting point video for you if you want to see exactly what you might want to look for, what you might want to avoid. Try to get the best weapons you can, try to get your food up. Once you get all that going, that's when I recommend trying to make bases. Bones, I don't really like getting the bones, but I'll use bone equipment. So yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this video. This is just a beginning guide into it. In the next video, I plan on making my house and showing you a little bit about that, how the layout I usually like to make. Yet again, like I said, it's a layout I like to make. It might not be the best type. It might not even work for you at all. So, loot this last crate. That is a good one to get in case you do actually want to make windows. Alright, we'll peek my head up and we'll call this video it. I got lucky because there's not a whole lot of people on this server currently at this time frame. This is the only bad thing about this area, is it is kind of a maze. However, as you've seen, it's not a very popular area, so it's going to be more than likely able to be fully looted by you. As you've seen, I got a few decent items from this. Now, like the okay, I want to go over here to log out. But now, like stuff like the, oops, sorry about that, I hit my mic. But like stuff like the rocket, until I get the rocket launcher, I'm just going to actually let these build up. This way I can try to actually copy the blueprint if you have a blueprint table, or if you find the blueprint table. However, if you own one versus finding one, it is a lot easier. Alright, that'll do it all for this video. I hope you liked this video, and thank you so much for watching. If there's anything you want to see me do in this game, please let me know, and I will get into it. But for now, that's it for this video. In the next video, I plan on making the house. That's all for now. Till next time, later guys.